in the second MAC valve for the hollow boost controller, so that way we can put onboard air. We use the Viair system instead of using CO2, so we don't have to keep refilling CO2 all the time. For the most part, this is self-explanatory if you follow Holly's instructions, which are available on the internet. And we're going to get started from there. I have to disassemble, or not disassemble, but take apart the old compressor side of this, and then that way we can plumb everything the correct way, because I was only running one before. Now we're going to run two to have better control. Alright, so you can see that this side right here comes from the compressor wheel housing. Now I'm going to run this over to the bottom side right here, or the bottom side of the wastegate, and then this is the top side that's going to go up to the MAC valve, which we've already hooked up. So now I just got to trim this hose to fit it, but also keep it out of the way so that way it doesn't get too hot, get melted, then we start losing boost pressure. Alright, so we got it all plumbed in. This is going down to top of the wastegate. Then we have the vent here on this side, plug, and this is going to go to our air supply for dome pressure, which is going to be our Viair system. This one I still have to wire in. I have not wired it in yet, but I just wanted to get this all plumbed in, and then now we'll just go ahead and open up this Viair system and see what it all comes with. Alright, so we're going to open this thing up and see what all this kit includes. Heard this is the way to go, so that way we don't have to mess with keeping filling CO2 containers or canisters and everything else. So essentially, let's see, we got the air compressor. Alright. And then we'll get to that in a second. Alright, so it has a 1 gallon tank. So therefore when that compressor runs, as soon as we hit key power, It'll pressurize this tank. So that way it can give us dome pressure and everything we need there. This is everything that comes with the kit. And it comes with everything wiring wise, looks like, even inline fuse setup, all the plugs. Some mounting hardware. Heck, it's actually a pretty decent kit. It comes with a lot of stuff. So essentially, I guess what we're going to do is I'll mount this tank and, the tank compressor all back here. So we got a little room in the backside here. So what I'll probably do is mount it down here next to the battery. Don't need any of that. It's extra weight. We'll put it back here so that way it just gives us more weight in the back, and then maybe mount the compressor or the tank here. Either way, it's all going to be back here in the back. Then I'll just have to plumb it up to the front with an air line to run to the Mac valves. Oh, that damn thing's heavy. All right, so I'm going to get this thing open and see what we can find in here and get it started. So like we're saying, everything is labeled pretty well on what it's for and how everything's gonna hook up. So I'm gonna start putting in the drain cock and everything else, so that way get this thing ready to go, and all I gotta do is wire it up later. Alright, so we got the whole thing pretty much plumbed up. The relief valve up here, safety switch or pressure switch is going to come right out to our damn bugs 1/4 inch line. Air hose that's going to run all the way up front to the Mac valve. The only thing I haven't done is put this in here because I want to make sure how I'm going to mount it in the trunk before we do all that. And then after that, it's just wiring up. I think I'll probably just put this on 12 volts, so as soon as I hit the key, or maybe as soon as I turn the kill switch on, it'll immediately start priming, or not priming, but running the compressor, so therefore we'll have air as soon as we need it. But I haven't made my decision on that yet, so I'm going to look in and start wiring this thing up now. Alright, tank's mounted, compressor's mounted. Now it's just, I don't know if it requires the thread tape there, but I'd rather do it and be safe than sorry later I gotta take it back apart because the damn thing is leaking. I have to say, the only complaint I got about this thing so far is this. No matter what, it seems like no matter how tight we get it with the 2 bolts it gives us with that rubber grommet, it feels like it was loose even though the bolts are tight. But other than that, and they said I was going to mount this. We talked about mounting it behind the driver's seat or the passenger seat, but according to the instructions, they want this as close to the battery as possible. So how much more close can you get other than right next to it? All right, now that we got all the placement, everything where we're going to put it, it's stuck here now. I'm going to go ahead and solder this ground wire. I'm going to extend it because it's not going to reach the battery over there, so I have an extra little bit more black wire here. Go ahead and solder all that together and attach it to the battery. Then I'll wire this up through the relay, the power, and our switch, pressure switch here, and we should be good to go. So I'll come back periodically and show you where we're at. All right, just to give everybody an update. It's a couple days later, so this is going to be a 2-day video, or well, I'm going to say a 2-day video, but basically right now I'm getting ready to finish up wiring up the Viair system. I do have another part that come in today, and I'll explain that in a minute after I finish this, but I'll go ahead and do this kind of like I'll set it aside so you guys see what's going on, and I'll take some pictures as I talk about what's going on. So actually it's very simple. Everything, like I said before, it's pretty self-explanatory in the instructions. So I'll show you the instructions, and I mean, heck, if you can read a picture and or know how to a relay works, you're good to go on this one. So here we go. So basically right here you can see it gives you all the points of the relay. They're all numbered, of course, on the back of the relay or on the bottom of the relay. And then all you got to do is wire it. It gives you all the leads for it. I've added shrink wrap and all that to them because that trunk doesn't actually lock, it just closes. So if I'm on the way to the track and open car trailer, water gets in there, I want to make sure everything's sealed up. So then on the back of the instructions, here, let's flip this over, it literally gives you exactly how everything is supposed to work. So it's almost idiot proof, really. And I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out tonight, and I have to finish doing the wiring for the second MAC valve. I'll knock that out and I'll show some video of that as well. So here we go. Alright, so basically I wired this up. It's all a mess. I gotta dress it up still, but what I did was I put it to the battery kill switch, because essentially once the pump fills the tank, it shouldn't have to run very much at all, and once I turn on the battery kill switch, I'm gonna start the car anyway. So let's see if it works. Alright, we're successful. It's blowing out air. I'm gonna go ahead and plumb this up, I guess, after I eat dinner. So alright, so I'm done with dinner. Super Kate made some bomb meatloaf and a salad, but just to give you a heads up, so for the most part, like I said earlier, this thing is pretty self-explanatory, but the only issue I had was I had to pull the terminals they sent to go to the pressure switch. The terminal didn't fit onto it, so I had to pull some out of my stuff. No big deal, just a heads up. It's a simple little thing, but hey, if you ain't got it sitting around and it's late, hard stores are closed, you're stuck till the next day. So I mean, just a heads up, make sure you have all the stuff you need before you start doing it, and so that way you get it all taken care of. Alright, now right down here, I don't know, let me see if I get a light down here. See if that'll focus if I do it that way. Basically it's it slips over it and then it ties on and bolts it down like kind of like a ferrule fitting. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that hose on there, and then I'm just gonna run it all the way up there into the engine bay to tie into the second MAC valve. So I'm trying to record this by myself, so I'm not gonna be able to get it all on there. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I plumbed it up. You all can see down there I put some soapy water on all the fittings. Surprisingly, there's no leaks. Runs all the way through the cab of the car, down around that rat's nest of wiring, then comes out there, comes all the way in to our MAC valves that are not mounted yet. I had Super K come out and help me because I can't hear hardly anything, so I had her check. Between the soapy water and her, I think we are good to go.